Okay, the time is 6 o'clock, and this will bring to order the Granite Falls School Board meeting of February 25th. Please join and rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Yes. Okay, item 2B, land acknowledgement. Mrs. Losi.
We honor the First Peoples of these lands by acknowledging that the area in which we gather is within the traditional territory of the Stillaquamish tribe of Indians. The Stillaquamish people have inhabited these lands and waters since time immemorial, and their descendants have remained in this territory to this day. The Stillaquamish people have continued to practice the traditional ways of their ancestors of fishing, hunting, and gathering. The Stillaquamish tribe has had these lands and cultural traditions passed on to them by their ancestors, who believe that everything has a spirit and that they are caretakers of these lands and waters.
Thank you. All right, tonight in attendance, we have our student reps, Elijah, Thomas, Violet, and Jadalyn. And then we have Director Farley, Director Panagas, Director Veach, Director Dane, myself, Director Ledoux, and Dr. Giesland. 3A board comments. Do this like usual. We'll start with board, and I'll come pick on you before later. Director Farley, any comments for today?
It was kind of fun watching the results of the state wrestling tournament. Unfortunately, Granite didn't have anybody place, but it was cool that they had 8 kids down there, and it's kind of neat because you can follow it right on your computer and see how they're doing in their matches. The other one was I made it to the high school for both lunches last week, and made it to Crossroads and got to see the kids and some of the teachers in action. There was some neat things happening, and there were some things that were eye-opening, but that's how it's always going to be at a school.
All right, thank you. Director Panagas?
Well, I have several things, actually. I wanted to remind people that the Chamber of Commerce is tomorrow morning at 7:30, and Nate Nearing will be there. So if you want to have breakfast at the Buzz Inn tomorrow morning and chat with Nate Nearing, he will be there. And then I want to just thank our community for supporting the Granite Falls Community Coalition at our rummage sale this last weekend. The rummage sale, all the funds go to our back to school celebration, which provides school supplies, backpacks, shoes, for the students in Granite Falls. We made just over $6,000 with community support. Isn't that amazing? And our back to school celebration is August the 18th. That's a Tuesday. And anyway, we're looking forward to seeing those kiddos get all ready for school. Another thing, on March 3rd, the American Legion is honoring Officer Megan Nunemaker, and it will be at City Hall at 7 o'clock. And so I just want to make you all aware of that. And then the American Legion is having a birthday party because they are founded in 1919. So, and that's March 14th. And it's also at City Hall, and that's at 1 o'clock on a Saturday. And that's my announcements.
Thank you. Director Beach.
Actually, I just had a thought about the study session we had before this meeting today. We're forming several committees that we're inviting the public to be part of those committees. So I'm extending the invitation, but everyone else is going to be extending it as well. But there are several different committees that are going to be part of ensuring that the levy that we just voted for, how that money will be spent, ensuring that we have the transparency and the collaboration of the community members to verify and ensure that we're spending the money where we said we were going to spend the money. So please do make yourselves available to come and do that. Additionally, there'll be some additional committees. Oh, I wish I pulled up my notes, but it has to do with the athletic fields and some of that information. And then also more long-term projects for construction. And even as we look at growth coming to our district, you know, down the road, what are our plans there? So I'll extend those invitations, and also for anybody that wants to come and talk to us about it at the next study session, which I think is next Wednesday at 4:45.
2 Wednesdays.
2 Wednesdays
from now.
Okay, 2 Wednesdays at 4:45 in this administration building. I think that's. Oh,
Cool.
feel free to pick up where I left off and add
No,
more in.
everybody's doing a wonderful
Yeah.
job. And I don't have a lot. I just, with the weather that's happening right now, I want to say I'm in this town all day long. And I'll tell you, the middle school and high school Crossroads kids that have been out on the streets in this beautiful day leaving school have been very respectful and seem to be having a great time. Really appreciate seeing them out there enjoying the weather and treating our community with respect. So,
Thank you. First I'll say is I'm sure we can blame the snow on me. My wife and I, we've been talking about how mild this winter has been. And then sure enough, it snows. And then you look, and of course, I always joke with Dr. Giesland that a meteorologist is the least accountable position in the world. Because then you look and you're like, oh, we're going to get snow for the next week and a half. And then it turns to rain and it's 50 degrees and we're sunny. And, but the snow day, I'm sure every kid loved it. My daughter was out in the snow all day, and then coming back in, shivering, trying to warm up on several occasions. And then, as far as the committees that we're putting together for the levy, definitely we ask and we insist and we would implore anybody within the community that is interested in, yes, whether it be field, building, facilities, anything along there, get in contact with the district and please come out. We want your opinion. We want the feedback as part of this. I'm sure there will be communications that go out from Dr. Giesland's office and whatnot, but please engage. We do not want to just do this on our own. We want, nor should we. We should have the input from everybody. This is all of our money going into this and making this a better place for all of our students and everybody here. Okay. Item 3B, superintendent report presented by Dr. Giesland.
Great, thank you. Actually, you want to go to the students first?
Oh, actually, yeah. Sorry, forgot about that. Elijah, he called you out.
Nothing much has really happened in terms of Crossroads lately. Just going through the motions, and the grades are looking better.
That's good.
Makes mom happy, so. Yeah.
Earlier today, we went to the craft of the month, which is nice. Got to make these.
Ooh, bookmarks.
Yep.
Nice.
So shout out to them too.
Library.
The library, I mean. But aside from that, nothing.
It's always a sucker for a good lamination machine when I was growing up. It makes things feel so official. Thomas.
Yesterday, I'm pretty sure it's been a long 3 days. I attended the WASTA SRN meeting. So it's hosted on Zoom. I'm free to invite anyone who I want to attend, as long as they're students, of course. It's just kind of to build connections between the student representatives across the state. And our goal is to increase student and board connection, because across the state, it's a problem how students can't, even if we show up to these meetings, how we can't actually interact on a deep level, So we had some questions like, what problem or problems do you have as a school director when it comes to listening and acting on student voice in your district? And what solutions could alleviate these problems? So that's kind of the focus we went for. And Violet has dates and the topics we went over.
Okay.
Yeah, the upcoming dates is Monday, March 30th, Tuesday, April 28th, Tuesday, May 26th. And the topic one is annual con theme and topic conference, and topic 2 is what to accomplish by May.
Okay, and so those are the meeting dates for the SRN? Okay. Great. And then Violet, any other updates? I know Tom's just kind of jumped into you.
About like we're still going on with the BOTC.
Mhm.
Actually, tomorrow is the flag football thing at 6:30, and it's going to go against all the other grades. So yeah, if you guys want to show up to that at 6:30 tomorrow.
Great,
Tomorrow.
appreciate it. And then Jadalyn.
I'm actually really happy with this year at the participation. I think like over half of our school participated in the dressing up, which is pretty good because last year it was bad. Like nobody participated. And juniors earned first. So I'm happy with that.
Yeah, maybe they'll win for the first time.
I know I want to win.
Great, appreciate it.
And Saturday night is, of course, the culminating event at Granite Falls High School. It's such a great event if you can attend. You're going? Is that what you're raising your hand?
How many events has the juniors won?
Oh no, we've won everything besides the participation because our class is so small. So like no matter how many people show up, we will never get first place. So it's not fair.
It's not a
It's not based on
percentage.
percent?
No, they changed it.
That sounds scandalous.
We'll make a note.
But
They don't want us to
classes,
win.
of course, that tweener week between winter sport and spring sport, and it is one of the cool things that Granite Falls has to offer. Saturday night, you'll see the decor in the gym, and my first year, 2 years ago, I was like, you've got to be kidding me. This is fantastic. So such a great event. And then tomorrow night, flag football. So join us
Is
there.
the volleyball with the flag football? Or?
It was
Yeah,
last night.
volleyball was last night. It was
Last
the
night,
boys.
And the juniors prevailed. So there you go. All right.
Okay, now we'll move on to 3B Superintendent Report
Great.
by Dr. Geeslin.
A couple of things tonight that I'd like to discuss with the greater community and the board. One is, if you could go to the next slide. Thanks, Stan. We're going to be doing a technology survey of our certificated staff. We've done a lot of work on Anxious Generation, that book, and our staff reading that and putting some of those things into play. But the survey is designed, it's not fully culminated yet, but to talk about the student Chromebook usage. We went to one-to-one devices when COVID hit, and one-to-one devices for all. And now there's some research out there that's pretty clear about, excessive screen time and use of technology and those kind of things. And there may be a better balance. So we want to see first how much Chromebooks are being used, and do they need to go home and be one-to-one at that K-8 level. And then secondly, really working on that instructional purpose around technology integration. So, and then some staff perceptions. Next slide, please, Dan. Some key data points we hope to garner from this technology survey is how much time are students spending on Chromebooks, on screens, and actively using screens, large format displays in classrooms. And then the feasibility. Dan and I have had many conversations around middle school. We have some concerns about Chromebook breakage and replacements and those kind of things. So we're trying to figure out what is that happy medium. I'm sure you've seen the research that's out of the news about many nations going away from technology altogether. And so I'm not saying we're throwing all of it out. I'm just saying we're going to start assessing and seeing what does research indicate is the best way to meet the needs of our kids. Our kids do need FaceTime. We know that in 2010, when the majority of our teenagers had devices in their hands, that things pivoted. Mental health things pivoted. Depression and other things pivoted. So we want to be pretty aware of that and see what comes of it. And then that perceived balance between digital and non-digital instruction, what works. We aren't seeing the outcomes we thought we would see with some of this instructional technology. So want to hear from our staff who are doing it on the daily. Next slide. So I realize this is a very, very busy slide, but that rationale is really looking at, again, post-COVID and expanding, looking at worldwide what's happening. There's some research around across the world around it's PISA, it's the Program for International Student Assessment, and it's that assessment of 15-year-olds in reading and math, the core content areas, reading, math, science. And we've seen since 2010 a steady decline, and that's concerning. This generation is the first generation that we think previous generations will actually outperform them on cognitive skills. So with that, the ultimate question is, what's that balance? What's that right balance instructionally around technology? And so we're going to hear from teachers and things first, and then we'll move on and take our direction from there. For our elementary grades, we had lots of conversations around do our K2 students need to be on devices at all outside of maybe an iReady assessment? So we're going to be doing some work. We want to put the right tools in the hands of our educators and our students. And we have people in front of our kids, and we know that we learn best from other humans. Humans are social beings. So this is kind of the first in that work. I think you all know how passionate I am in the soapbox I get on around screen time and technology. I'm very concerned, care deeply about our students, and I'm very concerned about what they're able to do after they leave us. We want to prepare them adequately. We referenced, many directors referenced, sorry, next slide, Dan, thank you, our district committees. So we will be advertising these. They're all listed here in some details. So we have a facilities committee, capital projects. This is a long-term committee. There's 2 board members who were so eager to volunteer for these committees in our study session. So thank you to our board. But this is that long-term facilities planning. We are incredibly grateful to our Granite Falls committee, our community, for passing 2 levies, our EP&O levy and then our capital and technology levy on the 10th of February. So now it's that long-term planning, and then what buildings next and what we need to look at as far as bond and levy planning. So the facilities and capital projects, Tawny will work on getting things out through social media, through our website. Come one, come all. We need families, we need students, we need community members. These are the really important conversations of what our Granite Falls community wants. Our athletic field improvement committee is something that we said we were going to put together. We have 2 board members that are going to be on that committee also, co-chairing with council member Tom Fitzgerald, who's a long time community member. But we have some levy funds that will be dedicated to turfing some of our fields, lighting some of our fields, and replacing some of our fields, making them usable. We have the nice thing about being in Granite Falls is we have space and we have fields. The thing that we need to improve is the condition of those fields and the usability of them year round, because some of them are pretty swampy. So we need to look at the schedule of that and how much money we have and how it will be spent. Each of these committees will report back to the board, because ultimately the board decides where we're going to spend those monies. Next slide. A few other committees, our Curriculum Instruction Assessment Committee, affectionately referred to as CIA. This committee is run by Executive Director Moore and 2 board members that will be on that committee. Director Veach is already on that committee, and she is a parent in the district also, so that's wonderful. And then Director Panegas also volunteered to be on that committee, a longtime educator, so it'll be lovely to have her as well. Around curriculum adoptions, instructional practices, really that heart of teaching and learning in Board Policy 2020, and then assessments and student achievement oversight. And then a new committee that Executive Director Quarterman will chair is a Health and Wellness Committee, centered on Board Policy and Procedure 6700, which is student health and wellness, but also some health and safety things in the community. And so an open invitation to our community to be a part of that. If you would like to be a part of any of these committees, please email us at communications, and the email is up there. Again, we'll put this on the website and social media, but we encourage as many participants as possible. And then again, we'll have regular reports to the board so we can make informed decisions. Our goal is to be as transparent as possible, especially with these levy dollars coming in. We want to make sure that we are doing what we said we were going to do. And if we're not able to do something or something changes, that we clearly communicate that and we allocate the funds as they were intended, because we are incredibly grateful for the community support. That's it for me.
Any questions, concerns, comments?
I just had a quick question. For the survey of staff, can you check in on I can't remember the name of it. It's not Go Guardian, but it's whatever replaced Go Guardian as the thing that teachers use to monitor. Like, so I gave you the assignment to read this thing, and I can see that you're playing video games. And then they have to go over and shut it down, right? So I'd like to know how many of them use that. Right?
Okay.
Are they using it, and what are they doing with it? Because there are definitely some teachers that use it, and there are, based on how much video games my son's getting away with, there are some teachers that are getting outsmarted. So, yep, I'm outing him on a public meeting. I totally am. It's okay. He knows. Anyway, so I'm just curious. I mean, we say that I believe that teachers believe that they're doing the thing that they've asked them to do, but are we checking?
Yeah. Okay. We'll continue to work on that. Dan and I just literally this week started working on the nuts and bolts of the survey and some of those things. So we'll add that to it. Thank you.
Any other comments, questions? Item 3C, 26-27 enrollment projections presented by Marshall Cruz.
We like to do this every year in February, beginning of March, just to kind of in front of the board what we're projecting our enrollment to be. We always go very conservative. It's kind of the foundation for how we build our budget and try and establish our staffing for the upcoming year. We talk about funding a lot, and all of our funding is driven by our enrollment. So this is what we're basically budgeting flat enrollment for 26-27 with the exception of the sunsetting of the Crossroads Lake Stevens cooperative agreement. That nets us about down 50 students from this year. We're budgeting a small kindergarten class. Our demographic study says there are a lot of newborn kids that have in our district over the last 5 years that should be starting kindergarten someday. They should have started this year, but they did not. We should have had about 180 kindergartners this year, but we only ended up with 145. Based on birth rates, we should have about 190 next year. But since they didn't show up this year, we don't want to count on them showing up next year. They could show up as kindergartners and first graders. This is a problem that's kind of nationwide. We're partnering with a demographer that covers a lot of the country, and they're seeing this problem of birth rates not translating into kindergartners across the country. And they're trying to determine if it's because of COVID, they're holding them from school an extra year, or if some rules changed in Washington that they may not start school until they're 8 years old, possibly. They're worried about that a little bit in Washington. So we want to get another year under our belt to see if this growth that we're expecting is going to happen. If we see a kindergarten class come in that's 180, 185 kids, then we'll know that 3,200 projection number for enrollment that's about 6 years out is actually going to happen. If we don't see it, then the growth will be mainly because of the new building happening in the community. So anyways, kind of flat enrollment projection this year, with the exception of some decline at Crossroads. Next slide. And just kind of shows it by school here. Essentially flat in all the schools. One thing that we're seeing throughout the state of Washington is that Running Start is becoming a larger portion of our high school enrollment. It's the colleges are being very aggressive in how they market themselves, and it's a big benefit for kids to be able to get college credit at a college while they're in high school, and that also counting towards college credit, and they can do it in less time. And so it's free, and major benefit, and we're seeing that show up on our enrollment numbers. Running Start, we get to count the student as enrollment, but the money we receive for them gets passed through to Everett Community College. So the state writes us a check, and we write a check right away to Everett Community College to pay them for that FTE. And we'll be, over the next couple months, we'll be working on trying to balance staffing to enrollment. There's a system our size always has bubbles. We had a second grade bubble that's been moving through the system that they're ninth graders now this year. There's some other bubbles in the system, so we're always having to kind of make little grade level shifts to address the bubbles. And I think that's it for enrollment. And it's not really any action. It's just kind of, we'd like to move forward with the budget and just want to get a little bit of feedback.
Yeah, I mean, we'll just have to see. We don't know. I think the one thing is, how are we starting to tie in the pre-K numbers into any of these projections?
So our pre-K has grown, right? Consistently, but even with pre-K growing this year, like to Marshall's point, we thought the 5 years ago, and then here we are at kinder, and we really thought it was going to be about 180. So we watched those kinder numbers very carefully. I think this will be the real telltale, because it's going to be, and we'll advertise early and have kindergarten roundup and all of those things and let people know. But we'll see. And the nice thing is, if we do those things early, if we need to adjust those kinder numbers and add a kinder teacher, we can do that early, or we can shift. One change is, as thinking about Principal Losi, is like that's a significant growth. So there could be some change to the buildings, and some movement there with enrollment at Cristo being budgeted at 510 next year.
Comments, questions on enrollment? Thank you, Marshall.
Wait,
Elijah.
How does running start hurt? How much does running start hurt the budget?
I don't know that it hurts the budget. It's like if a student is taking 2 classes worth of running start, we get 60% of their funding, and every community college gets 40% of their funding. A lot of what they do still happens here. We still have to have a secretary, still have to have transportation, we still have to have all these things to get them to and from, and to keep them sports, to keep them engaged in our school. But we lose, 40% of their funding. And a lot of the kids do take 2 classes at a time at Running Start, so that funding gets shifted from the school to the college.
So in a sense, it does affect our budget, right? Because if the more kids we have, the more things we're able to offer, the more classes we have, all of those things. And sometimes I think about the high school level, if it's a handful of students across, juniors and seniors, whether you have 26 or 29, like that's just more funding, but a teacher could have 29 students in the class, or 26, and we still have to pay whatever price for that teacher, that staff member. So it does, you're right, it kind of affects negatively. That said, I want students to be prepared for the long term and have I have 3 children myself, right? And Running Start was helpful.
It is a fabulous opportunity for kids to be able to graduate from Granite Falls High School with an AA, or really, really close to an AA.
So if we increase our AP classes, will that help with that?
And dual credit? That would help.
Excuse me.
Extensively, yes.
Yeah.
Does full-time Running Start change the percentage of like what goes to high school and what goes to college?
It does. So we're actually, if a student is attending Running Start, so a regular student we can count as 1.0. So they're taking 6 classes at the high school, they're basically a full student. If they're taking part of their day at Running Start, we can count them as a 1.2. So if they're full-time Running Start and that's all they're doing is Running Start, then all of their funding gets shifted over. But they can actually take 4 classes at the high school and 2 classes at Running Start, and we would get funded for 80% of them at the high school, and then 40% would be going to Running Start, and that's a 1.2. But it's complicated math, but it's really where they're attending, our revenue has to shift to. So if it's a full-time Running Start, we don't get any revenue for them. They're all the revenue. We get a big check from the state, and then we write a big check to Everett Community College.
Which is interesting because we still have extracurricular activities and all of the things, right? So.
Answer your question?
Yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you, Martha.
Yep.
Item 4A, items from the floor. Do
No.
you have any?
No items.
Item 5A, second reading to adopt policy 2106, program compliance.
It is in the board on the agenda online.
Any discussion on 2106? Just a WASDA
It's a
continuation is our
WASDA
second.
policy that, my question is, it's just sort of a general that we will be in compliance with all.
Yeah.
Okay, with all policies.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is- there
Sounds
were-
like a good one.
It's a policy for policy.
There were no alterations after the first reading. So yeah, we already approved the first reading.
Right.
This is the second one, just to make sure we're double checking everything, but we had no changes originally. So any comments, questions? Okay. I'd like to make a motion that we accept the second reading to adopt policy 2106, program compliance.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 5B, second reading to amend policy 2107P, career and technical education. Again, this is a second reading and it's also procedure.
Mhm. Mhm.
Just for the board to be aware.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Do we even vote on
We
this?
do not.
Okay, yeah, we don't even vote on this because it's procedure. Fine. So this is just awareness. But any discussion, questions, comments?
No, because we looked at it.
Yeah.
This time. Yeah.
Yep. Okay, item 6A, mid-year school improvement plans for 25 and 26. This is a lot.
There's a lot.
They're in their folders.
Yes.
Homework.
And I'd already printed.
Emily.
If any questions on those, we're happy to meet with you or have a study session to go over them. But there is, I thank you to all of our schools and all of our building leaders and Executive Director Moore and her support staff for compiling these. It's big work, but school improvement is the work and every day getting a little bit better. So this is the mid-year progress reports.
I would just say I definitely appreciate, you can see the effort that staff is making towards change, towards growth. And celebrating those pockets where the number of students are significantly below grade level, that number's going down, not across the board, but there are pockets where that number's going down. And then the increase in the students that are above at or above grade level. And just, that was encouraging to see. So I just want to thank you for your work.
I will also say standardization of these. It makes it easier.
Yes, it's
So much.
Well, it makes it easier to understand what you're looking and what to expect within it. Also, for anybody within the buildings too, you can cross-reference other buildings' plans and see what are they doing, what are they not. You know where to look. So like, I think it's a streamline. I know we all love creativity, but sometimes it's good to have a format of something formal. Because again, then I spend, years past, I'd spend an hour trying to figure out what I am reading anyway, just to start. So I appreciate that.
And I appreciate too, Peter, that when we're looking at developing our board goals, that our board goals and those improvement plans they're definitely in alignment. So that's.
Yeah. And so I don't think there's any action for us to take here, but any other comments, questions, obviously these are for us to continue to review and take a look at.
Well, I guess I'll say going into year number 7, not consecutively.
Yeah.
I feel like I have to put a little asterisk there. I love seeing continuity, like going through it and reading them, actually getting slightly lost and going, wait, which school is this again? And then scrolling back and going, man, they're all the same. I kind of love it. And I love that it's truly goals that are aligned with the student as the focus versus creating a survey to do a thing, to figure out by the end of the year the thing we didn't do all year long. I appreciate this is what I'm saying.
Anything else? No? Great. So no action required there. And then item 6B, DA Davidson engagement letter. Dana, did you want to just walk through that really quickly?
Sure. So there's a memo to each of you in front of you around our engagement with DA Davidson. So this is for us to have them do some work on our behalf, and ask Marshall to fill in here anywhere that I missed. But it's not a contract to do business with them specifically, but it is so that they can give us rates and help us as we explore opportunities to garner some funds and do our levy work going forward. It's not a binding agreement, but they are basically that placement agent. So if you have any questions for us, we're happy to answer those. But DA Davidson has been such a lovely partner in our levy work for as many years as I know, and in my previous couple of systems as well. And so we do need board action on this to say, yes, we would like for them to go out and get some rates and some ideas for us to get financing so that we can do the work that is ahead of us.
I'm all for help. So
I'd just like to say, I appreciate Dana, you clarifying, not only for myself, but for people at home or sitting here, that this is what keeps us out of trouble, is that this, because managing our levy is very technical, or the dollars that are coming in, managing those public funds. So understanding that that's what these people do, they advise on that. I appreciate it. Really appreciate understanding.
This company is, through the fire department, we use DA Davidson over the decades that I've been there. One of the best agencies in the state for building projections for how we shop for our money, making sure that we're following all of the rules. The state is quite complex in how we use our money. And so by having a professional team ahead of us on this and giving us advice is the only way to do something like this.
Absolutely.
Great. Any other comments? No? I'd like to make a motion that we accept or approve the DA Davidson engagement letter.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then item 7, consent agenda. Any discussion on the consent agenda?
Is there any changes?
Oh, no changes, additions?
Nope.
Any discussion?
Is there a congratulations in
That's
order?
what I was going to say. I'm just happy to see this agenda. And congratulations, Stan.
Dan.
Good. Part of the administrative team.
Yes, absolutely.
Long time coming.
Been long overdue.
Great. Other comments or anything? Good. Okay. Then without any other comments, the consent agenda passes with unanimous consent. The time is 6:37, and that adjourns this meeting of the Grand Falls School